All right, we're ready for it. All right, guys. So people were, I don't know. I think it's silly. Apparently, the royal family is suing South Park, and Ben Shapiro is where I found the information from. So this is what we're gonna give it a watch. I'm just curious. I don't know how you can do it. South Park's pretty cool. They're pretty consistent, honest, funny. So let's see what they're suing them for.
Things that I hate.
Probably because we're finally realizing that. I know I'm going to upset my European audience, or for however many I have, but I mean, it's just what's the point in having a king and a queen, and they don't do anything. It's just a waste of money. I'm just saying. I mean, I know that you guys would be like, no, God save the queen and all this other nonsense, but I mean, that's just your cope, in my opinion. But what are you going to do, huh?
So, things that I like.
We'll just keep
Let us begin with one of the great episodes of South Park ever. So, South Park, is a show that I have enjoyed, I would say, on an infrequent basis from time to time. It's not like a regular watch for me.
Time to time.
But there are certain episodes that are just classics. And they did, in fact, release a classic this week. It's centered on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and their consistent attempts to be private by constantly seeking attention. It's hysterically funny.
So let me start with you, Sam. You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Wah. Yes, that's right, friend. You see, my wife and I are totally like, you should write a book because your family's like stupid, and then so are like journalists. So you hate journalists. That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right. So you're a journalist. We just want to be normal people. All this attention is so hard. Isn't it true, sir, that you're questionable?
I'll just say one thing. Attention probably is a little difficult. Because it can be kind of annoying to get, some attention. But what I will say is that, this is the problem. See, I grew up and I used to actually work a real job. And now I play video games and talk through movies, basically, right? So that's... And, it's different. I was substantially more stressful to actually work a real job, but sometimes it can be annoying being a little bit more in the public spotlight, so I can get that. But it sounds like the tone is probably like, oh, my life is harder than yours in some capacity. And it's like, how are you going to complain about being... They don't have to work, right? Don't they just give, taxpayer-funded, dollars goes to them? So, I mean, there's people out there that could barely pay for their fucking energy costs, and you're going to be like, oh, I'm having a real struggle. I don't know. It seems a little silly. To me, at least. So,
My wife has her own TV show and hangs out with celebrities and does fashion magazines? What are you suggesting? Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving wife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy.
Well, you know what she wants? She just wants privacy from, what she wants to say. She wants to be able to, say whatever, but not take any, criticisms for being an entitled fuck. At least the Kardashians take it in stride. Okay? And they take, and which is impressive because they're always taking fucking big black dick. So to take that in stride has got to be a fucking accomplishment for something. So good for them.
And you know what else? To hell with Canada. We are leaving. We'll go find some quiet place where we can be normal people. Come on, wife.
Wait, does that mean that they no longer get paid taxpayer money? Because that's a fucking win-win. Holy moly. That's crazy. Good for them.
We want privacy. We want privacy. We want privacy.
Okay.
And they then proceed to take a jet around the United States and around the world, actually, looking for privacy on what they call their worldwide privacy tour, complete with song. It is...
This episode really resonates with Ben and his autism. Let's be... All right, that's not me being rude, okay? That's just me being honest. People with autism, they have their likes. We all have our likes, but they like it more. And Ben's just really eating it up. He hasn't been this excited since the WAP song, so it's pretty good.
And these folks are actually, I would say they're beyond parody, but clearly they're not. South Park did an amazing job on that. There are actual rumors, by the way, that Harry and Meghan wanted to sue the creators of South Park.
Are they just rumors?
There are actual rumors that came out to that effect, which would be just a perfect example of the so-called Streisand effect. The Streisand effect is named after Barbra Streisand, the famed singer, because there was a point a couple of decades back when there was an aerial photograph taken of the California coast. And nobody had ever seen this photograph. It was in a public place, but nobody ever had seen it. And this aerial photograph contained a picture of Barbra Streisand's home. It wasn't labeled or anything. And so Barbra Streisand...
I don't know. There's a video saying that Ben might have autism. It's not a bad thing. Just saying, okay.
Roxanne freaked out, and she threatened to sue the photographer unless he took down the photo. And he was like, I'm not taking down the photo. It's a picture of the coastline. Why would I take down the photo? But because she sued him, it ended up becoming a very popular photo, and millions of people saw it. This is the same sort of thing. The fact that this was even discussed, like suing South Park over this, is amazing. A representative said, it's all frankly nonsense, totally baseless, boring reports. But apparently, the response followed days of articles noting that the Duchess of Sussex was distinctly unhappy about Matt Stone and Trey Parker's depiction of the couple. The Spectator had claimed she was upset and overwhelmed by the show and annoyed by South Park, but refuses to watch it all, despite it being unclear who its source was.
Well, okay, so did they actually threaten to sue, or are they just being pussies about it? Because if they're just being pussies about it, I mean, I don't give a shit. If they actually sued, then that's going to show like a huge level of entitlement. But obviously, none of us likes bad coverage. Am I right, guys? That's why I'm always naked. Because there's I look better like that. I guess that's the joke. But okay.
That, by the way, is hysterically funny. She's upset and overwhelmed by the show. So one of the things in the show that is so devastating is that it points out that Harry and Meghan are claiming victimhood and are some of the least victimized people on the planet. The whole episode is about how one of the characters in South Park goes to an image consultant to remake his image as a school child, and Harry and Meghan have already gone to the image consultant, and the end of every image consultant's pitch for what your new brand should be is victim. So for the princess, it's stuff like First Lady Annoyer, victim. For the prince, it's like Prince, victim. And so when they claim victimhood, when she said, oh my God, I'm so upset and overwhelmed by South Park, all you had to do was go and live your life and nobody would care. Instead, you decided that you
Yeah, sure. All they have to do is opt out, right? Like, can't they just opt out and then like everything is copacetic? Like in the real world, you can't just opt out of doing things. If you're upset that people are so upset with you, then just disappear, right? Like, can't you do that? Why can't you just do that?
were going to go and sign a deal with Spotify and a deal with Netflix, and that you were going to be a famous person, and that you're, again, the very notion that Meghan Markle married into the royal family because she was seeking a private life with the man she loved is absurd. As I pointed out, I mean, I did like a full review of Harry's silly book, and like in the book, he talks about his dating history with Meghan. On like the fourth date, he invited her to spend a week in Africa with him. And she's like, sure. And he's like, she didn't know who I was. She didn't Google me.
Yeah, okay.
She literally covered Kate Middleton's wedding on her Instagram page.
Wait, no, but that makes it worse. Like, let's just say that. So he took her to Africa on like their first date or fourth date or whatever, and her claim is like, "Well, or he's like, she didn't even know me, so she must really love me." Bro, if she didn't know who you are and like didn't question how the fuck you brought her to Africa, then like this bitch. So excuse me, I don't want to be disrespectful. This woman doesn't care about you. Then she just cares about money, right? That makes sense. It's like, oh, we're going to Africa. I don't care how. We're just going there. Okay. Like that to me, like they're not like, oh, who are you? Like that's asking who somebody is like the most basic sign of respect that you can give somebody. Like, who are you? Oh, I don't care. I mean, just bring me to Africa, bitch. I don't give a fuck. That's how that reads to me. So it's even more of a red flag because of that.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure she knew who you were, and I'm pretty sure that you might be married now because she knew who you were. As it turns out, people like Prince Harry, meaning a habitual, approaching middle-aged drug user and alcoholic who can't hold down a steady job.
I mean, that sounds like my kind of guy. Am I right?
Don't tend to land B-list actresses. Just as a general rule, unless they are princes. If they are princes, it seems to help the deal a little bit.
I don't know, bro.
It's
listen, a middle-aged man that's an alcoholic, a drug addict, and has can't hold down a job, you can easily land a fat girl. I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I love big women, but I mean that just seems to be. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything. Just saying.
Honestly, amazing stuff from South Park as per the usual, but really, really funny. I gotta love me some South Park. It's hilarious stuff. I'll tell you what's not hilarious. How your portfolio looks right now.
Oh
the reality is the stock market is bouncing around. Nobody knows what's coming next. And the government is not helping this out at all. Are they going to inflate the currency, deflate the currency? What are they going to do with spending? No one knows the answers to these questions. This is just one reason you should diversify your asset base. It's one reason why I own some gold from Birch Gold.
Okay.
To dig our country out of the
All
current
right,
mountain
Ben.
of debt that we are in,
All
every
right,
single
Ben. All right. Buy gold. Blah 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 blah.
target
blah,
bags
blah, blah.
for all those years ago you use today, use it.
What, Ben? What is this?
That same one-of-a-kind proprietary flash safe. It's popular already. Flash values. And here's some of my cute stories about what it's like to have kids as well. Child / Shapiro. Another thing I like. So I want to tell you about a great episode in child rearing.
What are you, Ben?
Of
This
course,
is
they'll pick up. They get off. It turns out 9-year-old and my he said, "Well, I'm not going to locals for off." Friend got so we were talking. Why should I sell it for $1? A big chunk of it, slavery enough in their depictions of the evils of slavery. There's an article in the New York Times, Reality of Slavery. With senior people also wrote the Constitution.
what the fuck is this? All right, we're done with this video. There were like 2 minutes of this had anything to do with South Park. Cool. That's it. We're done.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.